one of Walmart's, the big box store, one of the most well-known stakeholders and family members, Christy Walton, has funded an anti-Trump ad in the New York Times calling on Americans to join the mobilization this week to reject authoritarianism. Now, is this going to be because there's a lot of people upset about this, and Walmart's a pretty popular store in a lot of pretty Trumpy areas? Is Walmart sort of straying into a bit of a go woke, go broke situation here?
Well, it's definitely a dangerous thing for them to have an heiress of the Walmart name speaking out and, opposing Donald Trump for sure. But I think she is the minority in that family. I think the Walton family is largely conservative. Every family has a black sheep. I think it's understandable. But yeah, they definitely might take some hits. People might not realize that it's just her, and they might assume it's the whole family. So Walmart is in a bit of a precarious situation. I think that they will probably start issuing statements or being more proactive about letting people know that it's not the brand, it's just one heiress who probably has not a lot going on. And so this is what she spends her time doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, just using your dividend checks to buy full-page ads. The New York Times, I might do something different if I was her, but what do I know?
Same.
I played a little bit also of President Trump on Miranda Devine's new podcast a few moments ago, and I want to give you a little bit more of that now. Trump has condemned President Biden's aides and declared that they likely committed crimes by using the auto pen to sign official orders and pardons, possibly without his knowledge. Have a look at what President Trump had to say.
I really believe it was a crime because I don't think he knew he was doing it. I think that people took over the auto pen. They got things signed that shouldn't have been signed. I don't believe he ever wanted open borders. I don't believe, he talked as if you go back and look a few years before, he wanted borders as tight as I did. And so they took over the White House. These people took over. They're sick. And what they've done is terrible. But the good news is we're fixing it.
Karol, the thing that strikes me is not for the first time we've seen things that Trump says and sound kind of outlandish actually turn out to be true. Do you think that this investigation could go somewhere and that there's going to be a much bigger cloud over the last 4 years of American history?
Well, this one sounds absolutely true to me. And I think that as all of these people are writing books about the Biden years and how, we didn't know how unwell he was and how feeble he was, I think the main question has to be who was running the country, who was actually in charge. And that will get us to the bottom of who was responsible for the auto pen. I agree with Donald Trump. I don't think Joe Biden knew a lot of what he was signing. And I do think that there's a scandal there. And I think it was out in the open for a long time. He didn't seem to know where he was a lot of the time. You're telling me that guy knew who he was pardoning? I'm not so sure. I think Donald Trump is absolutely right on this one. Very curious to see where this investigation develops, because they are going to need somebody from the inside to tell the truth. And I don't know whether they're going to find that person.
Well, yeah, if only we'd had a media for the last 4 years that would have asked those sorts of questions. Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, all these people writing their books and say, oh, gosh, we were in the White House press room. We could have asked the question, but no, we didn't. Anyway, hey, I want to just have a little fun with the Democrats here. The organization itself, the Democrat National Committee, progressive activist David Hog has said he's not going to continue as vice chair of the DNC after they called for a redo of the election. And the whole thing turns out because, well, he was a white male and didn't fit their diversity quotas. This is pretty hilarious when the Democrats are fighting against each other like this. But also, I mean, this is kind of what they want for the nation, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the thing is that David Hogg would be on that side if it weren't him personally being pushed out. I think David Hogg is fairly far left. He would absolutely support, having quotas for white men. Unfortunately, he's the white man this time, and so he opposes it. It's funny because he's coming off as a little bit more sane, but for the last few years, he's been, again, fairly out there, and he's best known for starting a failed pillow company to compete with the conservative pillow company, My Pillow. And that's really all he's ever done. So this idea that he should be running any organization is ridiculous. I think the DNC is right to push him out. I don't think their reasons make any sense that he's a white man. I think they should push him out because he's likely incompetent.
Karol Markowicz, thanks so much for joining me on the U.S. Report, and make sure you check out the Karol Markowicz Show.